Well, good morning. We're hoping that we have some folks joining us this morning. We're a little early, but that's okay. We have about 2 minutes before we'll start yeah, 2 minutes. Something like that. Let me move this down here so we can speak. There you go. Okay, we have a very interesting show for you today, where I'm going to interview someone near and dear to me, and I think that you will find the interview and the answers to the questions I will present will give you a whole different look at different things. So there you go. Good morning, Melinda. I think Melinda and Mike should get an award or something for being our most consistent guests.
Okay. Their award is they each get to spend a week with you visiting them.
You've always said that would be a punishment.
I've changed my mind. I don't know if Mike will be with us. I don't know how far they are into their move. So
That's right. That's true.
Good morning, Kathy.
Kathy Lieblich. Good to see you.
Okay, it is 10 o'clock.
Okay. It's 10 o'clock now. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I am Brian LeBlanc, and this is
his guest,
Maureen Rulison. And we are...
But Dementia Strong, but you're supposed to interview me
I know,
today.
but you're also,
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not capable of being two people at one time.
Welcome to my world, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, yes, today I'm going to be interviewing Maureen. And the reason why is we're going to talk about the importance of having a patient advocate. So let me give you a little bit of background. Caregiver Support and Resources, which was originally founded as a Medicaid planning company in 2004. In her 20s, wow.
Just a few short years ago.
I know. It seems like yesterday. In her 20s, Maureen went to work for the state of Florida Department of Health and Rehabilitative Services. An unintended but life-changing consequence of her career path was that she began to really understand what she saw happening to the people she cared so much for, the elders, their loved ones, and those who worked long-term care. What became evident was that failure to plan is a plan to fail. Let's see.
Why are you jumping through it?
I don't know. You had something down here, but okay. Stemming from
Welcome to my world, ladies and gentlemen. We spend a half an hour going over this before he just jumps over
it. Stemming from working with the Alzheimer's Association. Okay, there we go. She worked with individuals to obtain eligibility for Medicaid and VA aid and attendance, as well as protecting their assets before qualifying for these programs. Two things happened in 1999 that ultimately changed the course of the company. Maureen became a certified Eden Alternative Associate, and she became involved with the Alzheimer's Association. Okay.
Just keep reading.
An unintended but life-changing consequence of her career path was that she began to really understand what she saw happening to the people she cared so much for, the elders, their loved ones, and those who worked in long-term care. What became evident was that failure to plan is a plan to fail. Thus, she expanded her services that assisted families in covering the cost of long-term care and included planning opportunities for aging in place and person-focused care planning. It became obvious to Maureen that she needed to partner with an elder law firm to complete the planning for her clients. Today, Caregiver Support and Resources, LLC, partners with the law firms to provide benefit planning for clients. Additionally, Maureen is also a certified medical planner and patient advocate.
Medicaid planner.
She's like a big deal. Stemming from working with the Alzheimer's Association and the Eden Alternative, Maureen's focus and passion for serving individuals with dementia-related illnesses and person-centered care for all grew. Throughout the decades of working with elders and persons with other disabilities, Maureen had numerous opportunities to see that it takes a village to support the individual. Caregiver Support and Resources serve throughout the decade of building relationships with other professionals working in the areas of elder care, Caregiver Support and Resources, LLC. She has built a trusted database of referral partners we use to create the support village for our clients. Then last but not least, Maureen is a life care partner with Brian LeBlanc, which is me. Brian is living, just in case one or two people don't know me.
Okay, remember, this is about me, not you.
I know. Brian is living with Alzheimer's and vascular dementia. She has been educated by her own life experiences for this role. The Alzheimer's Association, the Eden Alternative, Pioneer Network, and learning from past clients, together, Maureen and Brian have built We Are Dementia Strong. Well, Maureen, thank you for being here today. I don't think you had much of a choice.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me on the show.
So I'm going to ask her a couple of questions, and it's really, and I have to just start out with this, is that what she does day in and day out for me, that goes unnoticed. Nobody sees that. They might hear little bits and pieces of what she does for me. I also hear about what she does with her clients. I'll hear her talking to some of her clients and so forth. The care and concern that she has for them, it just makes them feel so very important, so valued, and they know that they have someone that's fighting for them to help them go through this time. So I'm kind of in awe of you.
No, thank you.
Now with the questions. Who are Caregiver Support and Resources clients?
Well, I would say they fall into 3 specific categories, but then the general overall is that we help anyone who's going through the aging process, who is dealing with a disease diagnosis, and their care partners. But we have also got very specialized training and experience in. See, if you would move that thing, you could actually read it. There you go. in working with solo seniors, which is a very, very much growing market. People who have no children and no family or no family close by. And of course, persons living with dementia and their care partners, the LGBTQ community, who it is sad, but these folks have very special needs, very special wants, and unique circumstances that need to be addressed. And they often get thrown into other categories, and that makes me very sad. And then, as I said, anyone experiencing the aging process or who has been diagnosed with a specific disease.
So, what is the benefit of when someone hires a patient advocate? What all do they get?
Well, so he changed the question on me.
What is the benefit of hiring?
You said, what do they get? So,
okay.
If you want me to read all of my,
no,
okay.
What is the benefit of hiring?
Okay, the number one patient benefit to someone hiring a patient advocate that's an independent person, not someone who is employed by a hospital or employed by an insurance company or a specific organization that works with people with a certain type of disease, is that this client is our only focus, and their needs and their wants and their best interests are all that I have my attention on. When I first decided to become a patient advocate, I looked at, what if somebody gets diagnosed with cancer? What happens for them? Almost immediately, they are given a navigator of some sort. The doctor, I mean, that's the second thing that comes out of the doctor's mouth is, and here's someone who's going to help you through this process and tell you what you need to do and who you need to see and how you need to get there and what's available. And when I was trying to create for Brian that same experience, I realized that persons living with dementia needed someone who knew those programs and those special and unique needs and wants and circumstances. And so that's why I had specialized in dementia first. And as I said, the LGBTQ community and solo seniors also have unique needs, but now I'm saying we are Dementia Strong instead of Caregiver Support and Resources. Caregiver Support and Resources does specialize in working with people with dementia. I guess you might know why. So we often find that people don't know what's out there for them. We also find that, I'm going to be generous and say that the healthcare community is so focused on making money rather than on providing health care to their patients, that if you don't have someone by your side who, everything you read says is emotionally objective. Well, I won't say that I'm 100% emotionally objective when it comes to my clients, but I am emotionally objective enough that I can not be emotionally bought into everything that's happening with the doctor's appointments and with the test results and with everything's going on, and I can pick out what we need to hear and make sure we're asking the right questions and asking for the right information, asking for the right referrals and the right tests and everything. And again, my goal, my only person who I am obliged to is my client. So you have to have someone. I'm going to even say that it is probably one of the biggest things that I saw exemplified by COVID was how dangerous it is for someone, a loved one, to go into the hospital without someone there with them. When there's nobody there with you, making sure that you're taking the right medicines, making sure that they're treating the right things for your symptoms, listening to what they're saying, the discharge planning process is horrific. And if you don't have somebody there who's not sick and not just been in the hospital and not dealing with pain or illness or confusion. It's ridiculous. Also, so that whole part of it, going to doctor's appointments, when you're in the hospital, having to transition into different levels of care, you need someone there who's got your best interest, who has the experience and the knowledge to ask the right questions, point out and ask for the right things for you. As far as the Medicaid and the VA aid and attendance planning, one of the things I'm going to tell you is the sooner and the earlier you can get involved in that, the longer the resources you have are going to last. Think about it this way. If we take everything that somebody has to cover their care for the rest of their life, and we add to that Medicaid and or VA and attendance is going to pay for some of it, that extends what their money will pay for. And it, again, brings in the person-focused care. It brings in dignity. It brings in the higher level of care, because when you can pay for things that health insurance doesn't pay for, like alternative medicine, better care. And then lastly, but certainly not least, putting together a whole team, making sure that you have the correct legal documents, making sure that if you have to sell your home, you've got someone who's got your best interest and knows the senior market. If you need placement services, if you need moving services, if you need a fiduciary, don't go through online and see what Yelp says. Have somebody who has time and time again used this person's services and had positive outcomes with clients.
Very good. Kathy's comment, she says we all need an advocate, but right there she says, I'm so glad that you work with the LGBTQ.
Just LGBTQ.
Yeah.
IA.
People and their families. So it's, and that's something that Maureen noticed that was missing. And recently we're getting involved in that community so that we can help them, because I know firsthand what it feels like to be kind of lost in the shuffle.
What they are is ignored.
Right. Yeah.
Kathy's talking about the HRC, so that's the Human Rights
Coalition.
I can't remember whether it's committee or coalition. I'm sorry, Kathy. Anyhow, they give cities these tests to see how they're serving different communities. And St. Petersburg right here got 100% on that index test. And yet I will tell you that I can personally attest to the fact that elders who are LGBTQ are not getting their needs met. So that index, that test, it tests everything except for what's for elders. And that's where having a patient advocate who is learning from campaign. Thank you, Kathy. I told you Alzheimer's is contagious. You heard it here first.
Sorry.
Anyhow, when I get very passionate about things, I forget words. So it's good that I have people like Kathy to keep me going. You cannot lump people into a big ball of these are elders. These are people with dementia. No. Every human being has a specific set of needs. You can't take a cookie cutter and stamp everybody out into that same cookie cutter and say, this is what's going to work for you. But I will quickly tell you, I had a personal experience about 15 years ago where a lady called me and said that she knew she was going to be going into a nursing home and she wanted to use my Medicaid planning services, but she wanted to get to know me first. She didn't want to just trust anybody. And so she said, before I actually need the services, I'd like to take some time to get to know you. And I showed up at her home. This is one of the most stunningly beautiful women I have ever seen in my life. And we spent time getting to know each other. We'd go out to lunch. We'd go out and we'd go look at nursing homes, see what was important to her, see what she liked, didn't like. And about a month or 6 weeks into the relationship, I showed up at her house one day and she said, Maureen, sit down. I need to talk to you. I'm giving you the Reader's Digest version. And she said, I need to share something with you. And she said, I was born a man, but I have been presenting to the world as a woman since about 1953. And she said, my biggest concern now is how I'm going to be put into this long-term care system that is going to treat me what my driver's license says. And I have to tell you, it took me learning with her, from her, how devastating what she was afraid of could be. I wasn't able to solve all of the issues, but I was able to solve quite a few of them for her. And I'll tell you that it hasn't really gotten much better in the last 15 years. So sorry. You know how I get when I'm talking about people who are marginalized.
Okay. Next question is, tell us why you believe doing Medicaid and VA aid and attendance planning early into the planning is important.
Well, I really already answered that, because
Okay.
the sooner we can do it, the sooner we can protect your assets, the more money there is for you and for us to be able to make sure that all your needs and wants are met.
Okay. Next question is, what is the most important part of a patient advocate's job?
Goal setting. It's after I sit down with folks and tell them, all of the who, what, why, when, and where of me, and answer all their questions about my credentialing and what we do. And of course, cost is also a big discussion. The next thing I try to get to at our second appointment is goal setting. And before I let anybody sign a contract with me, we don't do that at the first appointment, because I want them to have time to think about it, talk with other people if they wish to, write down questions that they have. But once we have signed the contract, the most important thing I do in everything I do with people is to sit down with them and do goal setting and find out what's important to that person, find out what their fears are, find out what they want to make sure happens or doesn't happen, and what they want to know about their disease. What they most important to me right here is, at this point, is finding out what they do want me involved in and what they don't want me involved in. Again, I point out, I come into people's lives and they don't have a whole lot of time to get to know and trust me, and they kind of have to trust me blindly. So I can take these goals and I can talk about person-directed care, and we can kind of space in between achieving those goals time for them to learn to trust me. Sometimes we can't do that. Sometimes they come to me in a crisis, and it has to be a Mr. Toad's wild ride. We hold on to each other. But most importantly, they need to know and believe with all their heart that everything that I'm going to do with them and for them has them at the center of making all decisions and making sure that they have a care partner team. And I'm not just talking about family, I'm talking about professionals from all walks of life that can benefit them, that's there to implement, assist, and enhance the goals that individual set.
And I'm just going to go sideways here.
That's me looking surprised.
Yeah, I know. But behind me, I know you can't see it, but there's a little bag right there, back there. And on the front, it says Brian LeBlanc's medical and legal information. This case is something that Maureen put together for me, that whenever we go to a new doctor, a hospital, or anything, that comes along with us to every appointment. Sooner or later, they're going to ask for, oh, well, does he have, and then boom, she reaches in, pulls it out. And then she asks another question, reaches in, pulls it out. So, that's just something that she does
For all my clients.
for all her clients.
It's also a great go-to bag for the hospital. If God forbid I'm not here someday and Brian has to call 911, that bag is supposed to be out by the front door. I had to do some updating on it yesterday and forgot to put it back out there. So I see now I've been asked the same question twice. Good morning, Bo. There's my soul sister. Melinda and Bo have both asked if I only work with people in the state of Florida. So I'm a certified Medicaid planner, and I can work with people in all 50 states for that and VA, but I don't. I stick with where I can do face-to-face. And that has become a little more challenging this past year, but, there's nothing. I can't tell you how many times I sit in a doctor's appointment with I call them my clients, but they're really my friends, and we're holding hands because, skin to skin contact, as Brian can attest, is one of the best anxiety breakers that there is. So anyhow, but if I should happen to not be here someday and Brian decides he's going to go off to the hospital, he can grab that bag and they know everything about him from that bag. Now, do I ever believe that bag should stay with the patient at the hospital? No, it should not. But you should grab it. The other thing that I help people make is a to-go bag that if you have to go to the hospital, got clean underwear and you've got socks and you've got noise-canceling headphones and you've got extra charger for your cell phone. And if you don't have something on your cell phone that has all of the people, your emergency contacts and your friends and everything. Anyhow, I put together one of these little bags. And I also make sure now that there's a big old dose of hand sanitizer in there. And so, things to keep people, whatever they like to do, if they like to read, if they like to look at magazines, if they like to color, if they like to draw, there's something in there for them to do.
And, I may have said this before, so excuse me if I'm repeating myself, but when I was, for a while, a couple of years, I was living by myself. And I thought I was doing great, I did I guess whatever I wanted or what I felt was right and so forth and so on until Maureen came into my life. My diabetes, I have type 2 diabetes as well. My blood sugars were horrific. And I had the medications, but then I would lose track as far as not remembering what medicines I took. So when we got together and I moved up here or down here to down somewhere. I moved from Pensacola to Largo at first, and now we live in Clearwater. But she has everything just so organized. She has these little bins that have all my medications in for the morning and for the evening. In case I need, she always puts them together for me. I try to help. And my version of helping is I'll pour a pill into my hand and say, which do I take this in the morning or the evening? And she could be on the morning or the evening and has to stop what she's doing. And so she very politely,
leave me alone.
Exactly.
I'm going to make a mistake.
Just leave him here. I'll do it myself. That's polite Maureen. And with me, just with me.
Hey,
So-
sometimes everybody gets on. When it's medicine, that's
Yeah,
a pretty darn
it's-
important
it
thing.
is.
You don't stop in the middle and just go, hey, let's see if we remembered this. We're running out of time, so let's...
It's only we got 2 minutes. Do we got 2 minutes?
For you?
So, as I was saying, no, seriously, she put my life in order, is what she did. That's why I brought up the case back there. That's why I brought up the thing about the medications. She worries about me eating. Make sure that I have 3 meals a day, or make sure that I eat something 3 times a day.
Because I don't believe that you can stay healthy if you aren't fueling your body and giving
Right.
it energy. And so now the cat's out of the bag. I really am just doing for you what I do for all of my clients.
Right.
Sorry.
And I thought I was most important. That's okay. That's okay. I'm big enough of a man that I can share. I can share Maureen.
So if you
But-
go to the APHA, Professional Healthcare Association of Professional Healthcare Advocates, you can look up patient advocates wherever you are, and just help your clients or yourself to get the best care you can. And by the way, I didn't even get into everything we do for the care partners, but that'll be maybe another day
yeah.
when Brian decides I can be on the show again and be interviewed. So thank you again.
And you're not getting paid either.
Well, that's the other part. Everybody else pays me.
Pays you? Oh, your clients. Okay, I thought you meant
That's how we live,
And that's when she steals the show. And then
Thanks again for joining us. Next week, we're going to be interviewing Harry Urban, who is a gentleman who is in his 17th year of living with dementia.
17 years. And if you want to, you can find him on Facebook. Just put in Harry Urban. He does he creates these things. Right now, what he does is he makes designer pens, and he does it out of wood.
Not all of them.
Yeah.
He's doing a lot of resin now.
Yeah, he's doing some resin. This is one of his pens. And as you can see, it's wooden all the way through. And he did this,
For me.
I asked him if he would do a pen for
He did
Maureen
too.
and for her birthday.
So think about this. A man with the diagnosis of dementia, 17 years, working with heavy machinery. Okay? Let's not ever limit anybody. Okay, Don Windorf. Just wait. Don's going to be on our show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to give him a break the week he's on our show, and his lovely wife, Linda. Now, we'll be very kind to her.
Yeah.
But
Because, and I have a feeling that Don's going to bring his banjo.
yeah, I hope so. So many people. Good morning, Bobby. Good morning, Quinn. I love all of you. Thank you so much for joining us. And we'll see you next week on
We Are
Dementia Strong.
Hi, Quinn.
Bye.